Welcome back to day 3, and we are here to learn about animal features. Today we will focus on a nonfiction book about bats. And at the same time, we will learn about what can help us understand a nonfiction book better. Nonfiction books can be very hard to understand because they could have terms or hard words or facts that we don't know about. That makes the book harder. But books are just like us, or books are like animals. Animals have features. We humans can have features. A book can have features too, and we call them text features. And today we will look into one of the text feature, which is called chart in nonfiction book, and this is what a chart looks like in a nonfiction book. We will look into that in a minute, and we will see how a chart help us learn about the topic better. Before we start our book, we will take a look at joke of the day. Since today's book is about bats, here's a bat joke. What did a bat say to the vampire? You suck. Oh, vampire sucks blood, and the bat looks like he is very cocky and he thinks he's better than the vampire. All right, so here is our book today. The book is called Bats, Bats, Bats. And by looking at the title, the photos, and when we skim through the texts, we feel that this is a nonfiction book because it talks about facts, right? There's no dialogues, there's no setting or characters in the book. It's specifically talking about what a bat looks like, what do they do, where do they live, what kind of animals are they, right? So this is a nonfiction book. So a nonfiction book can have a lot of features because if it is just title and plain words, it's very boring and it's hard to understand. So we will see that nonfiction books have photos in it. Nonfiction books has highlighted words like this that it tells us that it might be a really, really important word in the text, or when you see a highlighted word, usually it's explained to us in the text. For example, we see this word mammal here. And when we read this part of the book, a bat is a mammal. We may not know what a mammal is, but we feel that this is an important word because it's highlighted, right? So we will continue reading to see if the book will explain to us what a mammal is. Like all mammals, a bat has hair and a backbone. Its mom gives birth to it. It does not come from an egg, and a baby bat drinks its mom's milk. Oh, so we learned that mammals are like us, right? The baby comes directly from mom. It doesn't come from an egg. The baby drinks milk. The baby has hair and backbone. So this is what a mammal is. So you see, the highlighted words are explained usually in the text. And this is one of the text features in the nonfiction book. But today we are not going to learn about any other text features, but we will specifically look at a chart. So in this nonfiction book, we see a chart. Usually a chart that exists in a nonfiction book are accompanied with texts, right? So below the chart, or even sometimes before the chart, we will find what the chart is about, and that can help us understand it better. So if we look at the chart, we see that, oh, this looks like a table, and this part is called bat or bird. And the chart has 3 columns and many, many rows. And the 3 columns are body part, and we see this column are all body parts: ears, covering, wings, legs, nose. These are body parts. And here the second column says bat. The third column says bird. So, oh, okay, we probably can figure out what that chart is about. Bat or bird. So the chart is trying to compare bat and bird by its body parts, right? So it talks about what bat's ears look like, but what bird's ears look like. Do they look alike or are they different? And if we read the texts below the chart, we can see a bat is the only mammal that can fly, but it is not a bird. So we can see a difference between bat and bird, that bat is a mammal, but bird is bird. It's not a mammal. Look at the chart. It tells the ways a bat and a bird are the same and different. So the chart can tell us how bats and birds are alike and how bats and birds are different. This time, I would like you to go into the details of a chart to compare them, to compare the two animals. Does compare and contrast sound familiar to you? Last time when we did compare and contrast, we used another graphic organizer or another chart to compare two objects. Do you remember what that chart looks like? Right, that looks like two circles that overlap, right? So we can put the differences into the circles that don't overlap and the parts that they are similar or alike is in the middle. So here is your task today. You're going to read this chart from the book Bats, Bats, Bats. Then you're going to put whatever you learned from this chart into this Venn diagram. This is called a Venn diagram, but this is a chart that we usually use to compare and contrast. And then you are going to write sentences about how bats and birds are alike or different. So from the chart, you can grab some information about how bats and birds are alike. For example, when you see the legs part, body part legs, bat has two short legs with claws. Birds has two long legs with claws. So what I learned about they share is that bats and birds both have legs with claws, right? But what are different about them is the bats have short legs, but the birds have long legs. So I can put legs with claws in the middle, but on the side I can put bats has short legs, birds have long legs. So in this way, I can make my chart, but there are other features, of course, you're going to fill in these circles. After you finish this chart, I want you to use those sentence frames to help you write about sentences. Here are some sentences you can use to talk about bats and birds are alike. You can use the word both. Bats and birds both have, or both bats and birds have. If you want to talk about bats doesn't have, the bat doesn't have anything, or the birds doesn't have anything, you can use neither nor. Okay. And of course, you can say bats and birds are the same in what? For example, in legs. They both have legs with claws, right? Things that are different. You can use the word but or however to contrast how two things are different. And of course, you can use the sentence bats and birds are different in, for example, the length of the legs. The bats have short legs, but the birds have long legs. Something like that. So I'm looking forward to your answers. And make sure when you submit your work, you have both the chart and your sentences.